Hey, good morning. It is Wednesday, November 5th, and 9:29 a.m. and I just got home. I went to the store today. I had to pick up a couple of grocery items, I go like in spurts. So today I got out of the house and I decided to walk instead of taking my trike or the bus. And it was nice. It was a beautiful, brisk autumn morning. It was nice enough where I could wear a cardigan and felt comfortable. So, it's definitely switching. The seasons are we're drifting away from like that summer type season. It's definitely autumn. I mean, it feels like it. Anyway, so now I'm home and I'm figuring out like what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day. Now, I wanted to show you this. My son got me this. I would say a few months ago. Anyway, it's a backpack. Okay, it's for my laptop, and I decided that it's not exactly what I want it to look like. So I really wanted it to be more like of a spring green, but when I got it, they sent me this color. It looks more like a khaki green, the kind of khaki green that um, looks like very military type look color, and that's the stuff, the kind of stuff my dad used to wear a lot. And as much as I love my dad, that was something I used to hate seeing him in. He would wear a lot of khaki, a lot of like these colors, and then we'd go up to Edwards Air Force Base and spend some time together, and I would see this color everywhere. I just don't like the color. Okay, I just don't. So, but what I am going to do is I'm going to paint some autumn leaves around it to try to give it a little bit of a different look. Try to jazz it up a little bit. Make something more personal. So I like the bag. I like the shape of it and everything. But it's just I don't really particularly like the color, so I'm going to go ahead and work with that. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this shift, this shift of direction. I woke up this morning and I had talked about me feeling very tired of the work life, meaning like, this is the one thing that kills the drive in a lot of people is, well, not so much a lot of people, but I would say a dollar targeted individuals, because a lot of us don't realize, a lot of us didn't know, okay? Now that we know, and I've unraveled this whole issue about how these networks work, a lot of these people, these this blacklisting issue is associated with churches, okay? And a lot of people have been making very bad decisions and not upholding, employment laws. And this not just in California, but it's pretty much everywhere. And I had made a video called Human Targets, Human Targets, and I sent it to a few people, and apparently, people have been like shuffling them around, sending it to other people, and so it has been, I believe it must have gone something like viral, okay? And a lot of people are recognizing this. And people have put the connection of me being this person that was associated with my father in the 1960s. People know my church story, okay? They knew it before I knew it. And apparently, I've come to realize that I'm a part of this group, this soul tribe group, that is associated with politicians, celebrities, etc., etc. Okay, so anyway, um, the message, the feeling that I had this morning is that what bothers me, what frustrates, damages, and just completely makes work life seem so unfortunate is this religious intrusion that comes into the workplace. Okay, and the intuitive message I got is that people are now starting to agree it's time to keep the church issues in the church. Like I said, there's people who have become members of churches for various reasons and in circumstances. Some people were born into the church. Some people made a conscious decision to convert to a church. Okay, and sometimes you might meet a spouse and then they end up converting to your church. Okay, so then when they become a member of that church, they make a formal agreement to adhere to the tenets. That means the rules, the doctrines, the belief system of that church. Okay, that's what they committed themselves to. Okay, and sometimes they feel as though they want to impose this on other people. Okay, and this is a situation that happened with me, as well as a few other members of my soul tribe. And so I remember watching a video. I think it was maybe a little bit after finding out about me being Prince Alamehu. Okay, and we were talking about clones, and apparently this man, he was a white man. He was talking about how clones are different because we are basically reincarnations of whatever, and there was a lot of resentment that was coming from this person because he felt as though how can I say this? He felt as though we were put in a position where we have more opportunities than other people. Okay, I would say yes and no. Okay, that is a form of compensation because of us being put in situations that, think about it, we're being set up against our will many times. Okay, so that is therefore a buffer. Also, I would say that when it comes to the bullying of us, this was not something that we decided to do. Okay, now we've talked about how these people, such as myself, these soul tribes, became came to be. Okay, these comes from people doing these cloning type procedures year after year after year, after generation after generation, and now people are starting to come and find out, and that it's not our fault. It's not our fault. Okay, so what a lot of people decided to do within different denominations were to create bullying tactics. I do not believe that I am the only person who has received bullying type tactics by members of congregations to try to force people such as myself into religion, lifestyle changes, or whatever. Okay, like I said, I had unraveled, this whole issue about the church, the cloning system, um, and also, the kind of disrespect that people such as myself receive from these particular religious groups. Okay, so what I wanted to address is that I know that there's been attacks on me specifically, and I want to address those attacks first. Okay, and I want to make sure that I want to get the attention of my soul tribe. Okay, this means specifically people who are in political positions. Okay, and the reason why is because, um, okay, wait a second. People only. Okay, so the reason why is because what is going on is that people are picking and choosing in certain industries. Okay, like for example, and I'm sure your name yourself might be logged into some sort of data bank to where you're not getting the accommodation that you deserve. And what this is it's created by Christian underground groups. Okay, Christian underground groups who feel that we're supposed to convert to their religion. What they do not understand is that we are victims of their religion. Okay, and so this is what I'm trying to let people understand, which I believe many of my members of my soul tribe have come to understand. Okay, so what is going on is like, for example, I had mentioned me dealing with like the emergency system. I had mentioned my issues with the social service system. Okay, what these people do is they get together and they want to bully people out of their benefits, or they want to benefit, or they want to create red tape over employment issues or whatever. Okay, so I wanted to address this particular issue, something about proven everyone wrong. Okay, so yeah, I have proven a lot of people wrong, and that I'm trying to take this very easy, okay, because there's a lot of things going through my mind, right? Um, Now, I know that I had mentioned some issues relating to the social services just recently, okay? And I wanted to, and I got this intuitive message that there are some people who are resentful for me about talking about the inconvenience that was, placed upon me beyond my control, okay? Beyond my control. And, and this goes right down to the reason why I was on these sort of services. Okay, like the reason why I was receiving things like EDD, unemployment. The reason why I was receiving things like SNAP benefits is because these people orchestrated me to be on it. It's a trafficking. Okay, trafficking is when people literally manipulate your situation. Okay, so I left Murray Family Farms. From that point on, people were instructed to do this. People were instructed to do that. I was going to be moved here. Then I'm going to be put on unemployment for like a month or two or whatever. And then they're going to shift me back over here. This was human trafficking. Okay, the whole thing was human trafficking. Okay, so I ended up, going here, there, and everywhere, and my employment record, basically got destroyed because of the inconsistency and the illegal activity that was going on. Okay, and this includes things like, uh, you know, uh, putting me in, discussing personal information with my son. People within this community discussing personal information with my son, creating one dialogue, and then orchestrating something else, okay, to put my life in jeopardy, okay. The intuitive messages I got, now I'm going to say that legally we don't work off of intuitive messages, okay. I only work off of what I have is hardcover evidence, okay. So like, for example, the issues that happened at Murray Family Farms, I have paper trails of me working in these places, okay. So yes, I understand the legal system, but I would know not to sit here and go into, oh, well, this, and this, okay. But one thing is for sure, that there is a trace of me having inconsistencies in my employment, okay. That alone is enough effort. That is enough right there. Also, I have information about what has happened. I've kept notes and everything else, okay? So I understand what's going on, okay? And also, the thing is, my son knows what is going on, okay? You created issues with my son. So now my son understands that, what the situation really is, okay? So now we understand that my issue is, and I want to address this so that we understand what's going on, okay? What my son didn't understand is that, these people were trying to use him to get information about me, okay? And then they were in turn using that information to create harassment or menticide or bullying tactics or putting me in some sort of information. They were actually pretending to be my son's friend. What my son needs to understand is that these people cannot be trusted, okay? Unfortunately, okay? I'm wanting to move on from this, okay? But it's important for me to, get the attention of my soul tribe, and something about, oh wow, okay, they understand that I do live very peacefully, okay. I am somebody who would never create any of this drama, okay. But they have been using my son to get information about me, okay. This is where it causes so much psychological damage, because this sort of program mimics COINTELPRO. I'm sure they orchestrated it very similarly based off of that, okay. And what you've caused is nothing but problems, okay. This morning I used my credit card, because I just wanted to test to see if it was going to work, okay. And it was declined, okay. Now, some people would say, well, how come you didn't work on paying your credit card bill when, you were out of work? Here's the thing. My son did live with me, okay? But I understood that my son was going to help me with the rent. He was going to help me pay my utilities and stuff like that. And that's all I'm going to ask him to pay. I'm not going to sit here and ask him to pay my credit cards, because that's not stuff that he was responsible for. Okay, I was using my credit card to live off of, okay, while I was out of work at BT Trucking. Okay, so I will tell you, these people have created nothing but problems for me. And because I knew what I was being dealing with human trafficking. And I have every right to sit here and throw out names. See, the names that I threw out I threw out people that I worked with. I worked with Alita. I worked with Jackie. I worked with all these people I worked with. Okay, I remember talking to Jackie about me being a victim of human trafficking, and she kind of acknowledged it, but she didn't really fully acknowledge it because she was not allowed to, okay. This is orchestrated through these underground groups, okay. And what needs to be done, and I want my soul tribe's attention, okay, is that things like emergency services need to be audited. They need to be audited for vigilantes. That needs to be the first thing. Okay, now I don't use emergency services. I only called them emergency coverage a couple days ago. Okay, I will never call them again. Okay, but things like the police station, sheriff stations, things like fire department, ambulances, and stuff like this needs to be corrected. Okay, the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that yes, I was right and I proved everyone wrong. Okay, this was deeper than just Bruce Collins messing with my employment or whatever. I do want to mention Bruce and Terry Collins right now. Okay. This relates to what's going on in the social services department. Okay. And I understand there's some people who lost their job and they're upset. I did not name any specific names. Okay. But I will tell you, when you're a victim of human trafficking and you know that you've dealt with this sort of harassment and all these sort of inconveniences, and you know good and well that they want to control your finances, I have every right to say here and say, I believe that this is happening. Okay. I know that other targeted individual women have talked about not being able to find work and all this other stuff. And the reason why is because these people use religion as an excuse to bully women who take care of themselves. This is if you don't believe me, take a look at it. Okay. Now, I also got this message this morning when I woke up, right? I woke up this morning and I kept thinking, my mind was on Terry Collins. Okay. And I believe that Terry Collins thought that she had some sort of legal right over me, as well as my son. Okay. And I want to make sure to people who are maybe, I don't know, the governor of California or whatever. Okay. That my records need to be checked within these organizations, that there is no total notation saying that, oh, call Terry Collins if Maria asks for something, because I would tell she does not have any legal right over me. See, these people want to work and outside of the system and to create networks that are based on their Christian beliefs and ignore what is the actual procedure. See, if I'm applying for, like, for example, if I'm applying for EDD benefits, right? Then I worked, let's just get I worked for a company for 2 years. Okay. And then I got laid off because the company went out of business. That's the information that they go on. That determines whether I am entitled to EDD benefits, not based on, does Maria smoke weed? Does she have a kingdom spouse? Did she have, is she, does she dance in her house? Or none of these things are important. These are this is the criteria that they're using, so that they are actually creating some form of genocide by denying people their benefits based on these reasons. This needs to be checked in their data bank. I want my file to be researched inside of the Department of Human Services. I want it researched and I want it fixed. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that Donald Trump is absolved from guilt in the public eye. Meaning, like, I understand Rashawn created a lot of problems. Then Rashawn put the bug in Terry Collins' ear. Then the Muma, all these people. Okay, Terry Collins does not have, and the reason why Terry Collins was trying to affect my ability to have my benefits, obviously she felt is some sort of need to retaliate against me for possibly speaking out against her. Okay, as well as her family. Okay, but I was right to do it. My son is 32 years old. I am 54 years old. Okay, no one should have any legal rights over us at all. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that I am acknowledged in all Masonic lodges worldwide. Okay, so for my Mason people, I would like you guys to research my file at the Social Services Department. Okay, if there's any notation saying, oh, contact, or she's got any of this, like some sort of lie, a power of attorney or something, I do not. Okay, I should know about it. Also, I knew that something about an intuitive message about Bruce saying that he fought for custody of my son when if that's not true. No one ever made any effort to do that. This is not for me to argue about it. It's just that I'm telling you, anything that relates to me is just straight up fraud. It's just straight up fraud. Okay, I am a woman all by herself. I do not have, family to call or anybody that I trust. And it's important for you to understand that I walked away from a group of people that I was raised with. This means Tanya, Rashawn, Lisa, their spouses, their children, and all this other stuff. I recognize that I was an adopted child. I am not related to them. Any involvement that they have in my life would be done for fraudulent reasons. They do not belong in my life. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that all things that do not serve me are returned to sender. Okay, so there's a lot of people who wanted to use these people as excuses to do the sort of things that they did. Like, for example, oh, Terry Collins, she's here and she's filling out, telling us that we have to contact her at the Social Services Department. Otherwise, Maria's not going to get her SNAP benefits or whatever. Okay, so then Terry Collins becomes a part of this transaction. Terry Collins has no right. The intuitive message I'm getting is same thing. All things that do not serve me get returned to sender. Okay, now I keep thinking, okay, I had already made it clear I do not want anything to do with Terry Collins. Bruce Collins or anything. Now, apparently, Terry Collins or the family got everybody's into this kingdom spouse thing, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Okay, I am kind of like, the whole concept of kingdom spouse to me is foreign. Why? Because I understand that kingdom spouses legally should not exist. Okay, they should not exist. When I talk about things relating to employment law, marriage or marital status is supposed to be protected. Okay, but when you have this issue, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong. I'm going to go into what I'm thinking is going on. Okay, Terry Collins wants to have control because she was trying to sabotage what some people call, and I really hate this term. Okay, this kingdom connection, and I hate that term. I hate it so bad. Kingdom spouse, kingdom connection, all of this stuff, because this relates to specifically what goes on in these particular religions. They believe in this sort of stuff, okay? But when it comes to people like myself, we're just looking for a job. That's it. Like, I'm just looking for a job. And so you get these people who get together and they're like, oh, well, Bruce was Maria's boyfriend many years ago. I was never legally married to Bruce. Okay. I had mentioned before, Houston is an illegitimate child. He's legitimate. Okay. But when it comes to paperwork and stuff like that, there is no connection to the Collins family. Okay. I was a young girl when I had my son. I took full responsibility to raise my son. I didn't marry Bruce for a reason. Okay, I didn't marry him because he was abusive, as well as his racist family. So his family trying to get involved uh, with my benefits or my employment or whatever is inappropriate. And I had already said this in the newsletter. And before I put it in the newsletter, I put it inside my one of my videos. Okay, you need to understand. My soul tribe needs to understand. There is no one in my family other than my son. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. The cloning system has put these people, very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. Okay, I don't have anyone in my life. I'm it. That's it. Okay, so and I try not to be a burden to anybody. Okay, so that's why when my son moved in here, I was like, okay, well then you can help pay half the rent. But when it came to my credit cards and stuff like that, I'm like, no, those are just going to have to go. I'm going to hold these people accountable. You put me in this situation. Okay, so fix it. No, I'm not going to sit here and dump on my son and sit here and like, oh, you need to sit here and do more than what. No, I want my son to be able to have a life of his own. You denied me of that, and I hate you for it. I hate you for it. So I tried to use my credit card today. It was declined. So I need to figure out, is it so that because I'm going to tell you right now, I want my credit card credit card balance down to zero. If they decide to close the account after closing it down to zero, then I would somewhat accept that. But do I think that my credit should be fully accessible? Yes, and I'll tell you why. Because they made it so that my car got repossessed because they prevented me from working. Yes, you did. Okay, so you prevented me from working. So now I ended up getting somebody donated me a car. I am so grateful for that. Okay, but at the same time, I noticed that the expiration date of the registration is just like in a few days from now. I also need insurance for the car. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. It's like if you cannot compensate people for what you take, destroy, or create, or the problems that you create, you stay the hell out of their stuff. Okay, so you guys decided to call my credit card companies, have them, cancel them, or you were reducing the credit on them and everything. You did not have any right to do that. Okay, the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that I'm welcomed in all Masonic lodges. Okay, if the Masons in this community want to handle this responsibility or act on my behalf, I would greatly appreciate it. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that these women, these bullying women who got together in their little committee outside of their company policy, got together based on their own belief system, because many of these women are from different denominations. They were basically just doing this to attack people for the sake of attacking them. Okay, but a lot of these women are paying the social consequence. Some of these women are getting abandoned by their spouses, and some of these people are getting beaten. Oh well. Okay, but what I do sense though this morning is that that why Terry was becoming involved is because she was in fear of me becoming friends with Vladimir Putin. Okay, and like I said, I just started realizing or honing into Vladimir Putin in the last few months. Okay, since I did my what do you call it, past life tarot reading, and then I'm sure a lot of you guys have been, working on all of that. So then he started popping into my mind, right? Because there's something about going on with him, okay? And I do believe that he is a supporter of mine. I want to say thank you, and I really, really, really like you, okay? I do. I think you're awesome. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that everyone agrees it's time to keep church issues into the church. The reason why I wanted to mention this, Mr. President Putin, is because I know that Terry was causing problems for me through her religious organization, which kind of spawned on to everything else. Now, I know that when it comes to these religions, like for example, you can be a Jehovah's Witness in Bakersfield, California. You can get online and you can, connect with other Jehovah's Witnesses in different parts of the country, okay? So you may have received some of their backlash, okay? I want you to understand, and I want other people who are in this soul tribe, especially politicians, to understand, okay? You are in control. You are in control, okay? And I'm not, do not let people bully you. You have the right to turn this around. Here in this country, okay, I can't speak for what goes on in your country, and I really haven't studied it, really, to be honest with you. But here in this country, I understood that religion was not supposed to be, it was not supposed to rule the country. It was not how it was supposed to be designed, okay? And what has caused, what has caused this issue that kind of crept up around me struck me. I wasn't. I was taken aback by it. I was taken aback by it because, you know, that's not what I'm, supposed to be used to. So yeah, it bothered me. But I do believe that you were trying to be of assistance to me when it comes to my employment, if that's possible, or if you are, I want to say thank you. But what I do think it's important to say is that what some people look at, they make a big deal out of this issue. Like, for example, you might range like a form of employment for me, okay? And so they look at you as, kingdom spouse. And I know that I've seen some people who have been making some YouTube videos about, accusing me of doing stuff that I think is silly. Like, for example, and I hate to even mention this, okay, but like fornication or whatever. And these women are so jealous that they don't even think with their logical mind. They don't realize that you are way over there and I'm over here. Most of these arrangements are done for our support of another person. It has nothing to do with that, okay? But I'm just saying is, you're a very handsome man, but I do believe that you may have gotten and received bullying from these people because of their just their unnecessary discussions and whatever. They have shown disrespect to people that did not deserve it, okay? Especially with somebody with your title. So if you've received this kind of treatment in your country, okay, and I need you to understand where it comes from, and you do not have to take it if you do not want to, okay? You have the power to, you know, protect yourself. So do so by all means necessary. So when it comes to my case, at these different places, I know the last time I applied for EDD, which is like unemployment benefits, I had realized I was a victim of human trafficking, and all I wanted to do the entire time was get out of that situation. Like every time I would think about me being, my life getting trashed by these people. These people were trashing my life. You know what I mean? And I was like, please stop doing it. Stop trashing my life. Stop doing this. It's like, and I didn't understand what was going on. And I found out I wanted to get as far away from these people as I could. Then I realized that Rex Laverne was sitting here. Rex Laverne was orchestrating, my last job. And I understood that, the gossip and everything. I didn't want to be a part of your thing. Okay. And this is when I freaked out. I wanted to get out of there. I was disturbed because you were ruining my career. You ruined my career. Okay. My jobs kept going down, and your reasons were that I was being punished. Okay. Like I said, your religion is warped. Okay. I'm not trying to offend you or anything like that, but I'm not trying to say that religion in general is warped, but there was some corruption that went on within this religious organization. Okay. And we are the victims of it. Okay. Mind you, some of us have titles. Like, for example, I don't have a title, okay? But some of these people have titles like presidents, the president, Donald Trump, governors, whatever. They have the titles and the ability to put people in their place if they need to. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that people feel as though my art is powerful. Also, my desire to get be protected, and for some of these people to get off the face of the earth has been, what do you call it? Has been granted, meaning, like, for my own protection, some of these people, they needed to be removed, and they brought it on themselves. The intuitive message I'm getting right now is that, yes, I really am somebody who is getting a lot of attention because of this issue. And I wish, in a lot of ways, I wish that I didn't. The reason why is because I never asked to be associated with this. I never knew that I was who I was. Like, I just found out that I was this, the cloning thing and all this other stuff. It's a nightmare. Okay. I understand a lot of people have tried to compete with me. People believe that I'm somebody who excels at their job. Like I said, the reason why I excel at my job is because I knew that I was all I had. And what you guys do is you bully me to prevent me from having a job. Okay, because I am the best. I am the best. Okay, but it's my skills. Okay, my ability, my dependability, my reliability, and even some of my innovation. Hoping all of this is going to keep me employed. The intuitive message I'm getting is all things that do not serve me get returned to sender. I know I've had a lot of bullies. Okay, but I need you guys to understand. Like, for example, the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that, yes, Mr. Vladimir Putin, okay, has experienced personal intrusion and bullying behaviors in your country and where your location is. Okay, I don't know if you choose to, I'm just letting you know where it's coming from. Okay, your citizens need to know their place. Okay, and that goes for the people here in this community and the country. And I got this intuitive message, like, something about the churches now realize that the church issues need to stay in their churches, and it causes people severe problems. And the big downer today, that I was thinking about mainly was the fact that they have, like, that this kingdom spouse thing has to be, you know what I mean? It's like women do not have protection. You know what I mean? They're supposed to legally, okay? So, like, let's just say, for example, I just moved here and I wasn't Marine Corps. I just any old girl, any old woman, any old girl, right? I just came here to Bakersfield and, I need to settle down. I went through a really bad past and I just want to start all over again. I'm going to settle down and I got a few $1,000 saved up in my bank account. This is made up. And then I'm just going to live off that until I can find a job. And I sit there and I'm looking for a job because I want to settle down or whatever. And no one's going to hire me because you don't have a kingdom spouse. You don't have a husband, you know. And really, and you don't know her background. She could come from a background where her family was raised in something really dark, and everything in her past she needs to get away from. Similar to my case, okay. And it's like no one's gonna do anything for her because she's all by herself, and or she has to have a kingdom spouse, or she gets this guy that she doesn't even know, and he's stalking her, and she's working with some employer to arrange her job, and then she's working there for a few months, and then all of a sudden she gets fired because the whole thing falls through. Like, maybe he's not interested in her or anymore or whatever. And all this gets done through these religious groups. You know what I mean? And I it's just, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. So I'm not trying to point the finger at anybody, but I am going to hold Terry Collins responsible for the intrusion. I am not beholden to Terry Collins, and I'm shocked that she would even think that she would be in that situation to do that for me, because I'm not related to you. I'm not married to Bruce Collins. I do not want my name associated with the Collins at all. Okay, the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that I was right and proved everyone wrong. She was somebody who was trying to hang on to me, and I'm angry about it. Okay, you have affected my life. Are you going to replace my car? Are you going to replace my car? Okay, I got a car. Okay, and the intuitive messages I'm getting is all things that don't serve me get returned to sender. So what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? She said, oh, okay, the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that my soul tribe is assisting with my work search. Okay, that's not enough. That's not enough. It's not enough, okay? Because look what I have to deal with, okay? So let's just say, for example, like right now, I have like a few hundred, I got $100 or something like that in my account. That's pretty much all I have, okay? So then I'm out of work right now, okay? So then I get a job. I got to pay for gas. I got to pay for this. I got to pay for that. And who's going to take care of that? Harry, whoever, Bruce Collins, stupid, idiotic people who want to do stuff illegally. Who's going to take care of that? You know what I mean? Okay, the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that all things that do not serve me get returned to sender. Same thing. Okay? It's your fault. I expect compensation. Okay? I'm also getting a message. The mystical favor. Okay, I am a mystical favorite by the. I'm mystically favored by the divine. Some people do not understand that the Bible. Okay, yes, people do not understand how the Bible is worked and how it's written. Okay, the reason why you know who I am is because of your church propaganda. Why was there church propaganda? Because of this system. Okay. I'm surprised Jehovah's Witnesses even exist after what I've been talking about. Okay, obviously you can tell your religion is fake. The intuitive message again, it keeps popping up. Your religion's fake. Okay, and do not send your religious people to my place anymore. I'm just letting you know. Okay, just letting you know. I want peace. I mean, I completely believe people have the right to believe what they want to believe. And I do believe that these two Jehovah's Witnesses women came over to my house just recently. They probably wanted to spy on me, probably wanted to look at what I'm looking at. What am I wearing these days? How does she look? Probably trying to see what I'm looking at, trying to hope that maybe I will go back into the Jehovah's Witness thing so somehow Bruce could be financially secure after exploiting me. You get your dirty hands off me. You get off me and stay off me. Okay? You do not have anything to do with me. Get out of my life. Okay? The intuitive message I get is like all things that do not serve me get returned to sender. Okay? You compensate me 100% for everything that you've taken from me. You want to take it, you replace it. I got a car. I want my car to work. Okay? So you either fix my credit card issue. I want my credit cards back on so I can take care of this issue. I want my car registered and I need it insured as well. Okay? I also need my AAA renewed. Okay, the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that everyone agrees it's time to keep church issues into the church. Okay, so if your Jehovah's Witness friends told you to do this, maybe you're one of the elders need to cough up some money too. Okay, you're not just going to sit here and put this shit on me like, oh, I'm going to sit here and put more inconvenience on me. So I got to sit here and worry about how I'm going to pay for gas, how I'm going to do all this. And it's all, but we're going to help you get a job. So that's enough. No, it's not enough, Terry. It's not enough. Okay. So, yeah, I'm telling people that I'm tired of their crap. I'm tired of your crap. Okay. What other messages do I have? So I just wanted to let you guys know that, okay, that this is how it works, okay, and what's going on in the country and what needs to be fixed, okay. There's a lot of people who go around pick and choosing who they're going to save in the emergency system, okay. There's a lot of people who pick and choose who they're going to work with and this kind of stuff, okay. I got treated really bad and I'm getting really tired of it. And I want people to number one, make sure that you check the data bank in the social services system. I want anybody who is attached to me removed. The intuitive message I get right now is that my work is powerful and that people expect me to have a lot of fun parties. I don't know about that, okay? I don't know about that, okay? Oh, okay, I want to talk to Vladimir Putin, though. If you are assisting in my work search, I want you to know I appreciate it, okay? And I also think that you are a wonderful person. I think you are extremely wonderful. I do like your look, okay? And I know that a lot of people are talking about me and you and gossiping and gossiping and gossiping. And they can gossip, but when it comes, they cannot cross a line. I'm not going to let people disrespect me, okay? And I don't think you should let that happen to you either. Okay, I'm very upset about, like I said, I'm not even really used to the idea of kingdom spouses or anything like that. I'm going to look at us as just being business partners and business friends, and that's good enough. Okay, but see, a lot of people, they try to make a big deal. Like, for example, I might wear an outfit and they're like, oh, she's doing that for her kingdom. I'm doing that but I will tell you though, I am very glad that you're around. Okay. I am glad that you're around. Okay. But seriously, I do like clothes. And I think maybe you have been bullied for the same reason. Some people might think that, we are who we are. You know, we've lived before, okay, and we are who we are, and it's like these people don't understand. And what makes it even more painful and offensive is that we are victims of the very organizations that these people come from. Okay, we would never ask to be put in this situation. So yes, I do know who you are, um, Mr. President Putin. I do know who you are, and that's why it's so cool too. I think you're amazing. So anyway, I let me see. Is there something else I want to say to my soul tribe? Okay. Hi, Donald Trump. Hope everything's well. I people apparently do support my New World Order initiatives. Mind you, what I'm talking about when it comes to employment law specifically, those have already been in place. That has been the law. Okay, a lot of what it is a lot of people get stuck in traditions or habits. They get used to doing things the old way. You know what I mean? Like, for example, some people may have practiced this sort of stuff, like but going back to the 1950s. Okay, so maybe their families arranged their jobs or whatever, and this is how it worked. Okay, but there's employment laws. Okay, so what happens to religious women who get beaten and they need to get out of these situations? They've got to be able to find employment. They cannot be their names cannot be in data banks where their ex-husband is cutting off their benefits and this sort of stuff. Okay, but this kind of stuff could be very well be happening to other people, and that needs to be investigated. Okay, it needs to get investigated. What else do I need to talk about? So yeah, I'm very grateful about that, and I do hope that I will be able to meet you guys sometime in the future. That would be really cool. I would love to have some beer and get kind of. I won't have any beer. I'll watch you guys guzzle out your away, but I just want to see you guys, talk to you guys and get to know you guys a little bit. And I do think a lot of people are expecting me to party and stuff. Oh yeah, that's another thing. People hold it against us that we are single. Okay, they don't. They now. I'm telling my story. I'm pretty sure, Mr. President Putin, that you probably had it pretty rough yourself, right? Growing up as who I am, I had it rough. Okay, so there's no one I can trust. I do not have family, so they look at us and think, oh, they're living the life and they're everything. They do not know how much pain that we have. And so they look at, okay, so yeah, I would say that when you have a lot of pain, we compensate. I compensate for my pain. I'm not going to sit here and just like, cave in on myself. So yeah, I'm going to clothe myself in the best kind of outfits I can. You know why? Because I went through hell. That's why. Okay. And I'm going to baby myself and I'm going to give myself all the love I can possibly give myself unapologetically. I do not care. Okay. And I know that if people want to sit here and create harassment issues, then I need to be able to have the legal system on our side. And the legal system really is on our side. It's just that we do not have enough people to enforce it. That's a problem. Okay, we need better people to enforce these laws. And I like I said, I'm not familiar with the laws. Oh, you know what, Mr. President Putin, I noticed I have this game and it's called it's kind of like Tetris. It's very similar to Tetris, right? I play it every day, and then I started playing it, and then I realized that it was in your language. Like, I don't know if you're configuring it or messing up with my phone or something, or you deliberately do that, or maybe you were trying to send a message or whatever. But I got it. Thank you. The intuitive message I'm getting is Democrats, Republicans, and anything in between all approve of me. Thank you very much. I just want to make the world a better place, a safer place, and a place where that we can eliminate outside intrusion into our personal lives. Okay, Terry Collins should have never been in any data bank relating to me, trying to prevent. They call these, okay. You know what they call these sort of business arrangements, Mister President Putin? I kid you not. These kingdom spouses and stuff like that. And see, people get jealous because let's face it, okay. You are a strikingly handsome man, right? And they think that they're like this is a kingdom spouse. Now, not to say that would never happen. I'm just saying is people are like, well, look at her, and they get jealous. And like I said, it doesn't, in their mind, they don't realize that you are way over there and I'm over here. Okay. It's ridiculous. The intuitive message I'm getting is right again, whatever you want, you get. And this is the mentality of these people. Because, people realize that I'm an intelligent person. They realize that I'm a very intelligent person, okay? And I'm very organized. And this is the kind of individuals that a lot of people, unfortunately, bully, okay? So they want to create issues and all kinds of drama. And then when I'm able to justify and explain why they need to get out of my way, they're like, you always get what you want when they shouldn't have been in my way in the first place. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, laws. A lot of people step out of line with me and I get very tired of it. You know what I mean? And it's, well, I'm sure that's happened to you and a lot of other people within this soul tribe group. And a lot of us have been together before. Okay, so a reunion would be very, very great to have. Okay, so anyway, the intuitive message I'm getting right now is that everybody agrees that Christianity. I don't like to say it and paint all Christians out to be this way, but some people have abused religion, and people need to the signs of religious abuse. And yeah, maybe one day my education system will flourish. And the reason why I say this is because there's certain things that people need to know about so that it doesn't happen. They always say, "Oh, what's the point of learning history so it doesn't repeat itself again?" Okay, obviously we're learning the wrong history lessons. Okay, and we're learning them wrong from the wrong standpoint. Like, people need to understand things like mind control. They need to understand mind control and how they can avoid mind control, how they can start learning to think for themselves so they don't get into these sort of situations. Okay. Anyway, but that's a story for another time. So if you are willing to assist me, I would greatly appreciate it. I want you to know I would never do anything to take advantage of you. I have utmost respect for you. I completely flattered. I was so happy when I realized, that who you were. I was just like smiling. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. I will be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye bye.